I've been doing so much exciting stuff that I'm feeling low in between. Like I'm feeling like so elevated all the time, so excited. And then in contrast to that, a regular day is starting to feel low. And it's such a strange dilemma. My girlfriend is constantly saying, if that's the biggest problem you have today, then you're doing all right, which does remind me to be grateful. My biggest problem lately, honestly, is I'm too excited to sleep, and that doesn't sound like a big issue, but sleep's the most important thing. If my sleep gets out of whack, then everything follows it, and then I'll start drinking more coffee or something, and or I'll sleep in, and then as soon as you start sleeping in when you're not sleeping properly, you're gonna start pushing that cycle out of whack. As soon as you're trying to manipulate your sleep at all, you're in trouble. You need to be able to sleep naturally when it's time to go to sleep. Yeah, that's the biggest problem that I have. So I'm doing all right. Even this week, like I've got 6 half siblings. I just realized since like meeting my new dad, my biological father, because I have one sibling with the wife that he has now, and there's another sibling from the wife that he had before, and I haven't met that sibling yet, but I'm going to meet them on Monday, and then I'm going to jump out of a plane shortly after that, because skydiving was a birthday gift, because I said it was on my bucket list and I hadn't got around to it, and now I have to do it. Have to. It's going to be fun. I'm going to get footage of that. I finished editing the big adventure trip all the way up the east coast of Australia, and I did it all on my phone. That was the challenge that I set for myself. Towards the end, I was starting to doubt it. I was starting to think it'd be so much easier just to put this on the laptop, but I persevered and I produced something that it's reasonable. Like it seems great to me, but because I've only looked at it on phone screens, I can't really tell. A few friends have said that it looks fine on their devices. It's been rendered twice, so it's been through 2 layers of compression, so it might have lost a little bit of quality that way. It's all technical stuff though. I don't think anybody really cares about the technical stuff when they're watching a video, like unless it's like really poor quality. It's like noticeably bad sound or bad visuals, like a small slight change in quality is probably going to go unnoticed. And that's a different YouTube channel altogether. That's Kai Lives 3 if you're looking for it. And I'm working on a second film right now, the same style. I was actually working on this film first, and the working title is Dad Occumentary. Obviously that's just a fun little play on words for myself. It's not actually going to be called that. It's very rare that the working title is the actual title when the video comes out, and it was just going to be like the story of finding my dad. A little bit of the story, like I didn't really plan on it unfolding, so I didn't really document it, but I've documented since, and I can sort of narrate and share a little bit of like what I've learned about myself and all that kind of thing. And it's just a new way of storytelling. It's really the original way of storytelling. It's a proper documentary, like a bit of narration, a bit of music, showing rather than telling, like stuff. It's like I've gone in this huge circle with my filmmaking, and experimenting with all these different things, and I've arrived back where I started with the style that I make films. But by going on that journey and trying all these different methods and ways, and like just everything that I've experienced, when I've arrived back where I started, I'm much better at everything. So and it's not even that you would really notice that much of a difference. I don't know, maybe you would. I don't think it's that different, the end result, but the behind the scenes is very different. Like instead of it taking me like weeks and weeks and weeks and hair pulling, like pulling my hair out and like stressing and anxiety and depression and going through like a whole emotional myriad of insanity to produce something. Now it's actually fun and it's easy and it's fast, like, because I've mastered so many different aspects of filmmaking. So maybe like if you look at something I made 10 years ago and you look at something that I made now, like technically you won't see like a huge amount of growth. Like that sounds terrible, but because I've been on this journey of like just trying shit and like fucking around and like just playing, but yeah, so you might not, yeah, the result hasn't changed much, but the process has. And I think now the result will begin to change because I have that confidence and I know what I'm doing. I know what works for me. And the biggest thing that I'm noticing with recent films that I'm working on is the speed and the efficiency. Like I can turn around stuff these days, and technology is a big part of that too. When I first started making films, it was literally still tapes. Like I remember putting a tape in a camera. I remember putting like a mini DVD in a camera and thinking that is the shit. Like that's the groundbreaking technology. Like that's going to change the game because I can put that straight into a computer. Like that was, and then the computer was like, I can't deal with this encoding the DVD footage into like digital footage to edit, like, and it was like this whole ordeal. And the process has been simplified and simplified and simplified to the point now where like I can literally load every different device that I shoot on into my phone, and my phone can edit the entire movie from start to finish, and I can record narration with a microphone that I can plug into my phone as well, while I'm watching it, like just like start and stop and narrate, and like have all the music all integrated, and even the color grading on your phone. Like I thought, I won't color it because color grading is really demanding on your processing power, on your CPU and your RAM. But I thought, fuck it, I'll give it a go. And I did some coloring on my phone, and it rendered almost at this. It didn't take that much longer to save the file, so I colored everything. Like, I really used every single effect and ability that the software on my phone had, and I pushed it to its absolute limits, and it was fine. So that's where we're at now, from like when I began making films, where it, like, to even produce anything, to have something to look at that you could show people, that was an achievement. Like that was hard. That was like you had to go through so many layers of bullshit to arrive at something that was like just anything. And now everybody can do it. But I guess like many things in my life, I don't really think of it that way because I went through the whole journey of like all the difficulties and obstacles, and I've experienced life at its most like maximum level difficulty. So when I play it on easy mode, I really love it and enjoy it. I was even thinking about that with my car. I was like thinking about like, why do people buy like luxury vehicles and like put themselves in debt, and like it costs like 10 times the amount that it would cost to fix my car if something goes wrong. And things go wrong more often with luxury cars than they do with my basic car. And I know how to fix my basic car. It just makes sense. Like I was going on this whole thing, like why do people do that? And then I was like, I guess because like they can't imagine it any other way. Like I've driven basically paddock bashes that are falling apart, that are held together with like tape and shit. And like that was like, I was like, at least I have a car. So for me to just have like the most basic economical reliable car is like, I am balling. That may as well be a Lamborghini to me. It's the same when I'm making films, like shooting stuff, being able to shoot stuff on my phone and like being able to edit on my phone might just seem like, oh yeah, it's normal everyday stuff. But because I have experienced like trying to fuck around with tapes and mini DVDs and transferring data and all of the complexities of the past, like the present and the future just seem so easy and manageable. And that's the same with like generally life experience, like people that have been through stuff, you know, whether you've been depressed or you've been anxious, you've had addictions, you've been through heaps of trauma, mental illness, like physical stuff, like you've had like 20 million surgeries and you've been in and out of hospital. If you just had a regular day, like where you were able to go for a walk and do regular people exercise, you're probably going to actually be fitter and healthier than people who take their physical bodies for granted. And this, having gone through some challenges and not taking things for granted is the most underrated thing. Like, just to be truly grateful. And like, I think overcoming adversity and going through some stuff gives you this kind of gratitude. Like, I really am starting to understand that the idea of like balance, and like there's always like the yin and the yang sort of elements to life, like the darker the depths that I've been to, the more I'm going to appreciate like the brightness and the joy and the lightness of being happy and having everything go right for me. Like, maybe like I wouldn't even be like glowing and just loving life and so pumped if I didn't have anything to compare it to. And that's something my stepdad always used to say. Like, I've probably said it before in a video diary. You got to have bad days so you know when you're having a good day. It's just that simple, timeless wisdom. Like, you got to go through some shit to know when like you're not going through some shit. I used to hate that too, and I reacted to it a lot, because at the same time, like, I have like a counter argument for that. Like, people say like you got to have a bad day so you know when you're having a good day. I say like the plant that you water and fertilize grows the best. Like, so on the one hand, like, overcoming adversity and having our traumas and challenges helps us grow, but at the same time, like, maybe I could have just grown perfectly well if I just had good, like, good experiences, and I had that fertilization and that I had like all of the things that I needed to grow. Yeah, like, if I'm using the metaphor of like I'm a plant, like, but like anything, what's the point of the what ifs and dwelling on like the life that you don't have? Like, let's reframe the narrative that we already have in the most empowering way that we possibly can. Because as long as I'm thinking like, if I just had everything that I needed to thrive and be my best self my entire life, sure, maybe I would still be grateful and happy and killing it. But this is what it has been, and this is the way that I've reorganized my story so that it makes me feel like I'm excited for the next bit. And it took a bit of effort to get to that, so I'm just gonna love it. If you get anything out of these videos, please let me know what you're thinking and feeling in the present moment in the comments down below. Start a bit of a conversation if you like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the like button for me, and you can check out all the other stuff that's going on through my website, kylives.com. There's some more exciting stuff coming up soon. We're doing our first camp. Like, there's going to be a 3-day camp. I'm not running it, but I'm going to be in charge of like capturing that and showing you all what's taking place there. So, and that is like a really important stepping stone to like bigger and better things that the people involved have been working on tirelessly for a really long time, and everybody's really excited about it. And if we get this camp right and we can show like, look what we're doing and look at how it's having like a really positive impact on the participants' lives, we get to do bigger ones and better ones, and we get more funding, and eventually I'm going to have more autonomy, and I'm going to be able to actually assist people in a way that is so far outside the mainstream model of mental health that we're going to make, the changes are actually going to be so significant that it's going to be impossible to ignore. And that's when, all this, like, we've been talking, I've been saying I'm going to do all this stuff. I've been like reflecting on my own journey and my own challenges, and I've been growing and evolving so that I can be like an example for others. But this is where it starts actually happening. This is the part where we become leaders. Like, the people that have this little community that we've got here that has been saying like, we could do things differently. This is the part where it actually starts to appear, like it's manifesting now. This is when you get to see it. So that is very exciting.